Reverse video search is a method of searching across some kind of KNN index for videos using video as a query. It's really powerful because it allows you to actually do search without having to use language to find the video that you're looking for. And this is a tutorial that we wrote a couple of weeks ago that kind of walks through what reverse video and in this example image search is. So we can see we've uploaded a picture of a dog and we're finding all of the similar dogs that match that picture. So instead of searching Australian Shepherd, we can search a picture and find similar pictures. And in this walkthrough, we will be doing the same, but for videos, and we'll be supplying a video as a query against an index of video chunks. And so we'll be using this embed method within the Mixpeek SDK. So you can find it at docs.mixpeek.com. And we will simply be providing a URL of a video, and we'll be using this views generic v1 model, which you can find information for here on the models page on the docs website. And we'll be using that video embedding model, and we'll be supplying it as a URL. And because there is an upper bound on the size of the video, we'll have to pre-process it. And we do have a series of tooling available that allows you to do that video pre-processing. And here we can say, this is the interval of frames we want to chunk the video up by. So for example, here we're saying with this video, we want to divide the video into 5-frame intervals. So let's say the first 5 frames is one chunk, the next 5 frames is the next chunk, so on and so forth. This allows us to actually capture independent chunks of the video, which make retrieval a lot easier. It's the same process as if you were to do tokenization of a corpus. And then we're reducing the resolution to this pixel ratio. And then we want to return the output of this as an array of base 64 strings. And this is kind of what that output looks like. So let's walk through this now. I've already added my API key and URI. Obviously, I'm not including that in the video, but we have this video that we will be processing. And what we're telling the Mixpeek Tools video processor is that we want it to chunk it up by 20 frame intervals. And we want to reduce the resolution to this. And again, we're going to return as a base 64 string. So let's run that now. Now it's in memory. And now what it's doing next is it's embedding each of those intervals of the video, each of those chunks as a base 64 string, and it's returning it as an embedding. So it's doing that now. And if we take a look at our database, we could see kind of what that looks like here. We have our start time, we have our end time, and we have the embedding as well as the URL of the video. And if we take a look at that video, I've muted it here. It's basically just a movie trailer from a film quite a long time ago. A lot of things are going on, a lot of different scenes, the third man, and just like a lot of different scenes and activities are happening. And so the value of reverse video search is rather than explaining the scene that we're looking for, we can provide a video from a different source of videos as the input, as the query, so we can say, hey, what are all the similar scenes that match this scene? Similar into that example that we had here, where we're saying, hey, find me all of the dogs that match this dog image. And so it's chunking, it's embedding each of those chunks, calling the Mixpeek embed video service using the views generic v1 model. And it's embedding each of those chunks and it's saving it into the database. So as you can see, this number increased here. Each of these chunks it looks like it's just over or just under 1 second intervals. And obviously you want to play with that depending on what sort of granularity you want in your retrieval service. So let's get back to that in a bit. Cool. So it looks like it has done the embedding of each of those video chunks. And it looks like there's 112 video chunks. And if we look at this movie trailer, it's 1 minute and 34 seconds. So just under 100 seconds. And looks like that tracks with what we had in our database. Each chunk is a little bit less than a second. So we have slightly more of those chunks. And we are inserting each of those into our database, our MongoDB collection. And we can say here, we have an embedding, a vector index already created. So we have the dimensions is 768, which tracks with what we have here. We've got the path of the vector is embedding, which tracks what we have here. And then we want to use cosine similarity. And so finally, what we can do is supply this video as the input to the query. And so again, we are using that same views generic v1 model. And instead of supplying it as a base 64 string, which we did right here, which is, again, that output from that processed service. We're supplying it as a URL. And we can do this because the video that we're using is actually quite smaller than the movie trailer that we used to index. And if we take a look at this video, it looks like a really grainy video of someone exiting what looks like some kind of sewer top. So a very low resolution video, very vague. It's not entirely clear what's happening, and it's actually would be tricky to convert this into language if you don't immediately know what it is. So let's take that video URL, run it through that embedding model, and then we'll do a k-nearest neighbor search using the vector search operator in MongoDB. And we'll just be saying, hey, find the top 3 video chunks from that movie trailer that match this video that we've embedded. So do that now. And now we've got our results. So we see 25 seconds in, we have that result. Let's see what happens at 25. Looks like someone exiting a sewer. Really cool. And let's just check that again. 25 to 26 looks like hands are exiting the ground here. So that's really cool. I'm excited by that because it's really clear from this scene in this movie that it aligns with what is happening in our query. So again, that is the power of reverse video search. There's a lot of really interesting implications and use cases within security, with insurance, and a ton of others. And we have a full-on walkthrough of how to build this yourself on the website here, reverse-video search in the learn.mixpeek.com website. We'll link it in the video comments. And again, we have the documentation here that allows us to do this ourselves. Request an API key. It's just a couple lines of code to do the video embedding and video search. And if you have any interesting use cases or really want help building some of this reverse video search application for your own use case, or you want to integrate it into your own database, whether it's Weaviate, Quadrant, Pinecone, Chroma, doesn't matter. We are at Mixpeek, we're really focused on processing unstructured files like text, image, video, and audio, and giving you fresh embeddings, fresh metadata, fresh timestamps, etc., so that you can do really powerful hybrid search for your applications. My name is Ethan. Thanks for watching. And again, that was the reverse video search walkthrough with the Mixpeek SDK. Thank you.